Hello and welcome to episode number 306 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Monday Night Raw for week 2 of November 2022, and we continue the road to Survivor Series. And the reason this show took so long, sentences you've never heard anybody in TEW YouTube history ever say before, was because I needed to find a way to write the Impractical Jokers into the show in a way that made sense and linked up some stories. so yeah, that's all done now. So now their existence is actually validated. But yes, they are here tonight. True TV's Impractical Jokers, as well as tonight we have an Intercontinental Championship match, Mustafa Ali against John Morrison. We have Bianca Belair taking on Sonya Deville, and we have the return of everyone's favourite anime series, My Wrestling Academia. And then we have, of course, Andrade last week won the right to challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. That will be happening next week. Raw on the Roof is the special show next week. It's going to take place on some rooftop, because that's a fun aesthetic, I guess, and I was challenged to do it. So it's taking place next week. It's going to be a big show. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into this week's show. Legado open up. Zelina, Andrade, Gran Metalik, the newest member, Lindsay Dorado, and then Cruz and Joaquin. Raquel and Cynthia as well. I just, for some reason, forgot to put them on screen. And Zelina says, I told you you were warned that Legado de la Sombra was taking over, not SmackDown, Raw. And we're gonna, that mission's already begun, it's going to begin even further next week, when Andrade takes the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, from Drew McIntyre at Raw on the Roof. Now I know what you're wondering. Lindsay Dorado, why would you do it? Why would you return to your old friend Gran Metalik? Why would you become a member of Legado de la Sombra? And then Cynthia Crespo takes the mic and she goes, why Death from Above came back together should be obvious, Sure, alone, Gran Metalik and Lindsay Dorado, they are great. But together, under the tutelage of myself, Cynthia Crespo, and the wicked Zelina Vega, they're unstoppable, and they're going to take it all the way to the top of the Raw Tag Team division. That's when Drew McIntyre comes out, and he goes, Andrade, congrats, me and you have got quite the history, even going back, 5 years at this point, you took the NXT Championship away from me. And 2 years ago, we went to Hell and Back, when the Vega Mafia formed. You remember the Vega Mafia, right, Zelina? She goes, I remember that, Drew, yes. He goes, well, you see, I ended up with the WWE Championship then, I kept it then against Andrade, and I'm taking it into next week, and I'm keeping the World Heavyweight Championship this time around. But Andrade, that's for next week. This week, though, your two little masked goons there, I wanted to kick their heads off. So how about in the main event tonight? Yeah, that's right, main event spotlight for Lindsay and Gran Metalik. I'm a giving champion. I find a friend, and me and him take on those two masked idiots in tag team match. And he goes, we'd love nothing more than to, take you down and weaken you just a week before Andrade takes your World Heavyweight Championship. You're on. So the main event will be they wrestled on Velocity last week, but their first match back was a team on Raw. Lindsay and Gran Metalik taking on Drew McIntyre and a partner of his choice. We then cut to the back, where our newest broadcast partner is waiting, Mr. Joe Gatto. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest, Charlotte Flair. And she walks in, she goes, hello, who are you? Can I help you? And he goes, no, that's nothing to do with anything, Charlotte. I mean, Cindy. So, I see you're on your way to work? She goes, what, first of all, it's Charlotte, Miss Money in the Bank, Charlotte Flair, the Queen, how dare you? And second, I'm at work, this is my job, what are you talking about? You're carrying your briefcase around, got a lot of your office girls behind you, I was wondering, what's the deal here? She goes, well, the deal here, Mr. Interviewer Man, who I've never seen before, is... And then Joe cuts her off and he goes, hey, what are you for? What are you three girls up to? Why are you staying in the shadows of this woman? And she goes, excuse me? And he goes, sorry, what I meant to say was, oh, Cindy, your breath stinks. She goes, hello, this is your first night here, and you're disrespecting the Queen, the greatest women's wrestler of all time, Miss Money in the Bank. And Joe goes, you don't look the greatest, you look pretty bad from where I'm standing. She goes, no, I'm not accepting this. I'm going to go find Alexa and get you fired, okay? And then Charlotte storms off. She goes, no, wait, Charlotte, please stay. And we then get the reveal of, the first challenge. Each Joker will be a backstage interviewer for the night, and they will conduct an interview with a member of the Raw roster. And if that person can stay on and complete the interview, then they win. And if that person walks off, which Charlotte just did, they lose. So big red X for Joe here tonight, and he's the first Joker challenge, and he's failed because he pissed off Charlotte by, doing what they were telling. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that. Of course they'd be in their ear, telling them what to say to the wrestler, and then we'd cut to clips of them giggling in the back. But I wanted to, present the first one as like an actual interview, and then we immediately pull the curtain back on what's going on. Opening match gets an 80, which, because they don't seem to click apparently, is actually kind of good. It's for the Intercontinental Championship. Mustafa Ali, the champion, won it back at SummerSlam, takes on John Morrison. Johnny Drip Drip's been back for a few weeks now, picked up a couple of wins, and he's looking to get singles gold here tonight. And they go 13:57, and in a 50-50 result here, I want to say a shocking result, but for those of you who read the goals, it shouldn't be. John Morrison beats Mustafa Ali and wins the IC title in 13:57. Jomo gets a 65 and a 76 for Ali. Again, they don't seem to click, but yeah, I guess for the live crowd, it would be kind of shocking. But John Morrison is your new Intercontinental Champion. He takes the title. Now, I imagine actually the referee comes in with the belt, and Ali takes the belt off the referee, like snatches it out of his hands, and then Morrison's like, what the fuck, dude? And then Ali hands the belt to Jomo, and they shake hands. He's like, yeah, you were the better man tonight, you were the better man.
Look in my eyes, no fear. It's the big man time in the place right here.
Omas's music hits. It outstorms Omas. Well, Malcolm Bivens with Omas behind him. And I guess Dewdrop with him. And he goes, congratulations, Johnny Drip Drip. What a journey, All by yourself. You don't need the Miz. You've proven that you can win singles gold all by yourself. And Mustafa, what a great champion you were. You didn't hold it for very long. You held it for 3 months, but it was a great 3 months. You really put the belt on the map. But the giant Omas here, the Nigerian giant, is here to, capture championship gold. Dewdrop is here to capture championship gold. Even Veer Mahan is here to capture championship gold. And then Veer pops up behind Ali and Jomo, takes them both down with $1 million arm, and Omas gets in the ring. He hits a big double arm choke slam on John Morrison, and then the IC title's on the floor, and Omas looks down at the belt. He goes to pick it up, and Bivens is like, no, up. Leave it on the floor, Omas. Come on, our work here is done. And they've just laid out Morrison and Ali. Why? If Omas doesn't want the belt, what was the point? Then see Drew with his world title walking through the hallway. And he finds the locker room of Shinsuke and Boogs. He knocks on the door, and no one answers. And we can hear banging from inside the room. And she was like, typical Shinsuke and Boogs. Probably just practicing guitar and all that shit. And then the door opens, and Cruz and Joaquin step out. And they do that thing where they're in their suits, and they tug at their collar and sort their suit out. And then they just walk off. And Drew's like, what the fuck? Then he looks in the door, and Shinsuke and Boogs have been assaulted and beaten up and left laying. So, it turns out that neither of those two will be his partner in the main event tonight. We then cut to our next backstage interview. Mr. James Murray is backstage, and his guests are the J-Flow. And he goes, what is it, Milo, Mandy, and Mackie goes, no, Mackie. And Mo goes, okay, so Mandy, so you're the champion here. And she goes, Mackie. And he goes, Mandy, okay, so you're the champion here. And up next there is a match. And the winner of that match gets to face you for the Women's Tag Team Championship on the Heat show up next. Mackie goes, they won't beat me. We are best champions. And he goes, okay, well, I don't think so. I think you're going to lose those belts up next. And Mackie goes, well, I disagree. Poo. You poo, you're going to lose your belt. And he goes, well, I don't have a belt. And Mackie goes, no, this one. Grabs me, takes his actual belt off his trousers and waves it around. And he's like, okay. And she goes, is that all? And he goes, no, I think that your singing is awful. And then Mackie sort of stops and just stares out into the distance like she's getting flashbacks. And the rest of the Chamber girls are there oh no. And they slowly step away because they know what's coming. And Mackie just stands completely still, just staring off in the distance. Obviously, Mer looks all confused. And he's like, hello? And she goes, Mackie just turns around slowly to him, gets in his face, flips him off. And then the interview ends, and he's like, well, I think that went well. I asked all my questions. So, a big tick for Mr. James Murray. The match in question, though, that Mer was talking about, because, we couldn't get it across properly because, he was being a bad interviewer, is VXT and Toxic Attraction in a tag team match where the winners will go on to Heat later on tonight after Raw to challenge for the women's tag titles. But that match is no contest. God, why did I nearly say triple threat? I can't imagine why I nearly said triple threat. That would make no sense to say that. Golly gee, I wonder where this is leading anyway. 9 minutes 14 it goes. 47 for Chelsea, 64 for Deonna, 59 for Gigi, and a 55 for JC. And yeah, I wonder what happens now. Another angle of Drew. He's walking to the locker room of Sami Zayn. And before we can get there, he sees, Montez Ford enter, in a rush, going, hey, get off him. And then Drew chases Montez Ford in as well, and Tez has finally been laid out as well. And Metalik and Lindsay have left Sami Zayn and Montez Ford laying a lead pipe or something. And then, I guess, one of them gets his face like Lindsay, and he goes, good luck finding a friend tonight. And then they walk off, and Drew, two more of his friends have been left laying by Legado. We then get Alexa in her office when Charlotte and the Queen's Court storm, and she goes, is this some kind of joke? And she goes, good afternoon, Charlotte, how can I help you? She goes, that guy, I came here, tonight, Miss Money in the Bank, the most valued member of the Raw roster. I had my interview segment, and I think, finally a chance for the world to remember that I am the Queen, and for the Raw Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, or whoever wants to win that title, to quake in their boots, knowing that I'm inevitably breathing down her neck to be the next champion. And who do I get? Some old guy I've never seen before. I never thought I'd be asking for Kathy or Kelly. They're the same person. I meant Kevin. And she goes, relax, You appear to have met one of our celebrity special guests tonight. And Charlotte goes, well, I don't want to meet your celebrity special guest. I want to be taken seriously because I am the future Raw Women's Champion, the inevitable Raw Women's Champion, and the greatest women of all time. Tatum goes, man, you do moan a lot, don't you? And Charlotte's neck just snaps around, stares at her, and she goes, I beg your pardon? She goes, well, it's just, being around, having to watch Alexa's back all the time, and you should have come in with a lot of problems all the time. It's you and, Dolph Ziggler, and yeah, she goes, I'm sorry, did anyone ask you to speak? Who even are you? Okay, you're one of Alexa's backing crew, okay? You can sit there and you can keep a little mouth shut while the big girls express their problems, okay? Because actual stars are talking. And Alexa goes, well, it's very rude of you to come in here and start mouthing off at one of my girls like that, Charlotte. She goes, I'll do what I damn well please. What are you going to do, fire me? And Alexa goes, no. I am going to put you in a match tonight. You want to take your frustrations out? You can take them out. Against Tatum Paxley in singles action. Charlotte goes, chance to embarrass a rookie. Just what I do best. We then get the penultimate backstage interview. Mr. Brian Q. Quinn. His guest is Sheamus. And he walks in the frame. He's like, Sheamus, last week, you came up short in that main event. How does it feel to not be challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship? And he goes, you're new here, fella, so I'm going to kind of let you off there. But it doesn't feel good, Drew McIntyre feels like he's ducking me after he stole a victory at Clash at the Castle. And now he's facing Andrade next week, and kind of bums me out, to be honest. And Q goes, well, if you thought about, maybe not losing, maybe being better and getting back into the title picture. And Sheamus goes, I'm sorry, I was the champion like a month ago. Okay, I deserve a rematch. I'm owed a rematch for my title because I'm the former champion, fella. Now who asked you to pipe up? She goes, I don't know, it's just Andrade to me feels more like a world heavyweight champion, Drew McIntyre feels more like a world heavyweight champion. Okay? And Sheamus just walks towards him, backs him into a corner, grabs his hands in his jacket or whatever, and he goes, let me tell you something here, fella, this is your first day on the job, huh? You think asking questions like that is going to be, keep you around here for long? Because you're not a bleeding journalist. And then Drew walks in the face like, oh, leave him alone. Look, I need a partner to take on Metalik and Lindsay in the main event tonight. Sammy got taken out, Montez got taken out, Shinsuke and Boogs got taken out. And so I'm reluctantly turning to you. We haven't seen eye to eye recently, We tried to kick each other's heads off a month ago. And quite frankly, I want to rip your head off right now, just looking at your ugly face. But, Legado, they have beef with both of us. And you want to help take them out as well. I know you do, Sheamus. Because you love fighting. You love fighting more than anything else. And you got a chance to kick the heads off some people that wronged you too. So what do you say? And he goes, alright. I'm not doing it for you, fella. I'm doing it for me. But you owe me one. So if we win in that main event tonight, and you can get past Andrade next week, then the week after that, I want my rematch for the title. And Drew goes, I don't like you, You stabbed me in the back. But I'm nothing if not a fair champion. So you got a deal. So it turns out Drew McIntyre and Sheamus will team in the main event tonight. And they walk off. Drew walks to the right, Sheamus walks to the left. And then we get Q and he goes, well, that went well. And he gets a dub because technically the interview ended and nobody stormed off. We then get a 56, just a quick squash match. The Vikings, who returned last week, pick up a quick win over two local talents, Bobby Roundhole and Rick Starr. Eric pins Bobby Roundhole with the Ragnarok. 79 for Ivar, 80 for Eric, 30 for Rick Starr, and a 15 for Bobby Roundhole. Then after that match, I imagine Edge and Randy were at ringside watching that. And then they get into the ring. And then Edge gets a microphone and he goes, the grand jury is my fault. I, in my blindness, decided I thought that I needed to make this weird, cult to help further my career. But little did I know that you guys, you didn't want me to do that. You wanted me to just be Edge. So, here I am. Edge. No purple lighting. No suits. Here I am. Jacket. I've still got my little trimmed hair. I'm working on growing that out. Old stuff. The old Edge is back and he's ready to go to war. And let me introduce you to the three men who are willing to go to war by my side. You see, when I formed the grand jury, there was 2 men I needed because I knew that they could brutalize the competition. And now they've gone from being my dark, mysterious, face-painted warriors to my Viking chums, Eric, Ivar. I was on the show of Viking. I know a thing or two about Vikings, if you know me. So, to have them still by my side, they didn't pledge their loyalty to the grand jury. They pledged their loyalty to Edge. And then you have Randy. Randy. Not a lot of people can trust Randy because Randy doesn't trust a lot of people. And I'm lucky to call myself one of them. So, when we knew there was rumblings of unrest in that grand jury, Randy left because we were playing Dolph Ziggler's game. We were playing Dolph Ziggler's game better than Dolph Ziggler was playing his own game. Because we saw that coming. Don't think we did. Damian Priest, he was a good kid. He's got a bright future here, but I knew I couldn't trust him. He'd sell out the second he could. So this is my team. Last year I went to war. Eric and Ivar, in the past, they've been through war. None of your team, Dolph, has been to war. 3 of ours have, and the other one that hasn't is Randy goddamn Orton. So step to us if you dare. Because it ain't gonna end well for you at Survivor Series. Because this is war. And the blood will draw our battle lines. I don't know why I had the grand jury on screen there. I wasn't supposed to. Anyway, the final backstage interview, it's Mr. Sal Vulcano, and his guest is Karrion Kross and the Cross Cult. And he steps in the frame and he goes, "So, Karrion, what's the hip happening?" And he goes, "What? Who the hell are you? Do you think that's funny? You're like out here asking funny questions, kid." And he goes, I did think it was kind of funny, yeah. And Karrion pins him up against the wall, grabs him by the throat, pins him up against the wall, and he goes, "Listen here, kid. You're new around here, so I'll let you in a little secret. People don't like to get on my bad side, 'cause I'm an animal. I'm a threat, and I'll wipe you off this plane. Now, my reasoning here is, some jokester thinks it's funny to kick a man while he's down. Some jokester thinks that doing silly pranks on a guy who's got nothing, a guy who's lost everything, people think that's funny. But let me tell you something, kid. You're the only person around here who can hear me, so you're getting it all. You're getting my evil expedition here. I was once like Corbin. I had nothing. This world kicked me when I was down and knocked me down. And that's what led to me and Croc, Arcus, and Cutler, and Corland to becoming what we've become. So, I'm trying to stop this world from claiming another victim. And it's jokesters like you that do these sick jokes that you think are funny, that are creating more monsters, more animals like me. So, kid, you gotta sit back and stop with the funny business, or it's not gonna end well for you. It's nothing personal, just the way of the world." And Karrion Kross storms off, which counts as an L for Big Sal, because he barely got to ask a question before Karrion Kross pinned him up against the wall and started that big evil expedition. So W's for Q and Mur, and L's for Joe and Sal. But then immediately cut to the 4 of them, explaining the next challenge, which we'll see, the 4 of them walk around backstage. They have the blackout glasses on. We can't see what's going through, and they're going to be guided by other people, by the other 3, and they've got to see if they can do what they want them to do. And Q's going to be the first one up this time, and he's got the glasses on. He's sort of stumbling around the hallway when they end up leading him towards a pissed off Balkan Bivens and Omas. I imagine we see Q stumbling around the hallway, and then the camera sort of pans away, so we can still see him in the background, but he's out of focus. And then we've got Bivens and Omas, and he goes, well, the job is done. Turns out John Morrison won, That kind of shocked me. I was kind of pulling for Ali, thinking Ali was going to get the job done. But we did our part. Omas, you are a Nigerian giant. Nobody wants to mess with you. The $1 million arm, Veer Mahan. Big dewdrop. No one's going to want to mess with any of us. And we let that alone. We laid them to lay-in earlier on tonight. So now we wait to see where the world takes us. And then Q stumbles and he's got the glass on and we can hear. And he cut to them going, and stop. They stop him right in front of Omas, and Omas sort of just stares down at him, looking unimpressed. And he goes, okay, now take the glasses off. And then he takes the glasses off and he's got to deal with the situation he's now in, which is in front of an angry Omas. And Bivens goes, can I help you? And he goes, I was. You got to pick a fight? You picking a fight with a Nigerian giant Omas? And he goes, oh, no, I would never. And then Omas just towers over me. He goes, get out of here. And he goes, okay. And he leaves. So Q gets an L for his second. But he did get the first one was a dub. So, maybe he could still end up tonight's biggest loser, depending on what happens. $75. The project here was fine. I gave Tatum Paxley and Charlotte 9 minutes because I wanted to give a spotlight to Tatum, see what she can do in that match with one of the top stars in the division. Obviously Charlotte wins because or even I did have to resist the urge to book Tatum to win this, but it makes no sense for the story I'm doing, so she didn't. Charlotte doesn't retain because there's no title on the line. She just wins. 89 for Charlotte, 31 for Tatum. 75 is actually good. Probably the best match Tatum's had, which, does make me happy. But then after the match, Charlotte stands tall with the briefcase. When out comes Rhea Ripley and the women's grand jury. And she goes, impressive win, Charlotte. Miss Money in the Bank. 10-time women's champion, whatever it is. Well, I lost count how many titles you've won. And Charlotte goes, it's 12. And she goes, 12 women's championships, And you've got that Money in the Bank briefcase, which means at any point you could decide to catch that championship in on me. I mean, you're not going to because you're scared of getting beat by the Nightmare. And I don't blame you, quite frankly, Charlotte. But, in case you were lost last week, we, us four, need a fifth member for our women's team at Survivor Series. And we were just wondering, Tyler goes, no, I'm going to cut you off right here. No. Why? Why would I be an underling, okay? Why would I join Team Ripley? Why, when you have Charlotte Flair on your team, I'm the captain, okay? So, unless you're willing to give up the captaincy of the team and listen to what I say, because I'm the veteran around here, then no. And he goes, okay. Because you're scared. You're scared of, being around me and not being able to take cheap shots and try and take my championship because I'm going to have my eyes on you the whole time. Charlotte goes, no, it's not that. I don't need to be around you. I could beat you right now if I wanted to, but I'm not doing so because I'm a generous Miss Money in the Bank. And then Bianca Belair storms out. She goes, girl, I don't care about any of this, Charlotte, go to the back. Your ass is out of here, We're finished with you tonight. Maybe you're still mad because, back at WrestleMania I whipped your ass. But it's okay because Rhea won't be the champion for too much longer. So when I win that belt back from Rhea, you won't be able to cash in on me because we know I'm better than you, sis. Because you're not the greatest anything. Because I am the greatest, the roughest, the toughest, the quickest, the baddest, the best. Here on the Raw Women's Division, I'm here to whip Sonya Deville's ass right now. And then we immediately cut into Sonya versus Bianca, which also gets a 72 because apparently they also don't click. We're having awful luck with chemistry tonight. But Bianca wins by DQ. She gets Sonya up for the KOD before Julia and Scarlett run in. Because I don't really want to pin Sonya again at this point. But then Rhea also storms in to attack Bianca, as does Charlotte. because, Bianca just ran Charlotte down the mic a minute ago. And Charlotte, Rhea, and the grand jury beat up Bianca Belair 5-on-1. Shida runs out with the kendo stick. Liv runs out with the whatever you want to call it. The thing she has on, is it a baseball bat? She has some kind of elongated object. It's either a black kendo stick or a baseball bat or whatever. She used it when she was fighting Ronda. Because I want her to match Shida. Shida's got a kendo stick, so Liv can bring that out. And then Sasha comes out as well. But, they're still outnumbered. It's 5v4. And the heels leave the babyfaces laying. And then we get Rhea holding a title over her shoulder, Charlotte holding Money in the Bank. And then a respectful nod at each other. They say some stuff off mic. And then the handshake between the devil and the devil, I guess, the two devils. It appears that Rhea has found the fifth member of her team in a powerful ally, Charlotte Flair. We then get a backstage segment with Regal, Gunther, Dudley and Pete. And Regal goes, can you believe the nerve of Finn Balor? Can you believe the nerve of AJ Styles? That's Santos Escobar. All these people, picking a fight with our entire coalition. That's not just you three. That's Rip and Jagger. That's Charlie, my son, Ilja, Alba, all of those on SmackDown too, And tonight, Dudley's got to face that dirty Carl Anderson. And it's going to be no stress for Dudley, but we need to put down Balor and this OC once and for all. And then into the frame stumbles Joe with his black glasses on. And, okay, I'll take the glasses off. And he's face to face with Gunther. And Gunther's like, Regal goes, hello there, sunshine, are you lost? I have never seen you around here before. And he goes, no, I'm just here to, pick a fight with Big Gunther. I reckon I can take him. And he goes, I'm sorry, you're going to pick a fight with Gunther, the Ring General. Okay, well, let me tell you one little secret. One chop from that man and you'll be feeling it 7 days till Sunday. Sunshine, is that really what you want to do? And then he sort of nervously looks around and goes, yes. And Joe then takes a Gunther chop as the Regal Coalition head to the ring. And Joe is laid out with a big red handprint on his chest. But he did get the dub. He did pass this challenge, That then transitions into a backstage segment with the four babyfaces who are pissed off. Or maybe they're all in the medical room, whatever. And Sash's like, you know what? Screw Charlotte. That bitch has been a pain in my ass for 8 years now. Ugh, I should have known that she'd sell out and join Rhea's team. And Liv's like, well, there's four of us and five of them. We've got to find our last member and pretty fast. Who else has got a bone to pick with Charlotte? And then Bianca sort of looks off and she goes, I know who to ask. And then she walks off, and then Liv and Shida and Sasha are like, well, where the fuck's she going? 78, which is, again, pretty fine, considering Carl Anderson's not that over. Strained bicep for Dudley, that sounds like something he can work through, so I'm not going to be too stressed about it. But Big Dudley wins in 11-11 with a Dudley device. 58 for Anderson, 85 for Dudley. I imagine there's some sort of leg-pulling shenanigans by Regal on the outside. And then Dudley hits the Dudley device, which is the rebound clothesline thing, in case you aren't aware. And yeah, picks up the win for the Regal Coalition. Then after the match, Balor and Gallows are also out there. So there's a big fight, 3v3. Ridge, I guess, is stuck in traffic this week. No, he can be here, actually. 4-on-1. It just wasn't with him in the segment. But then out comes AJ Styles and Santos Escobar from SmackDown. They storm to the ring. They 2-on-1 assault Ridge on the ramp. And then they get in the ring. And Gunther's trying to fight everybody off all at once. Phenomenal forearm takes down Dudley. Sling Blade coup de grace takes down Pete Dunne. And then it's Gunther in the middle of the ring. He was ordering for a fight, but all five of their babyfaces are around him. And they swarm him and they do the 5-on-1 beatdown. Gunther tries his best. He probably shoves, Santos to the floor, Anderson to the floor, Gallows to the floor. But in the end, after he's about to get hit, he gets taken off his feet. Balor goes for the coup de grace, and then the rest of the Regal Coalition pull Gunther out of the ring. And Regal grabs the mic, he like taps the mic, does that thing where it starts banging. And he goes, You've made the biggest mistakes of your lives. Balor, Anderson, Gallows, Styles, Santos. You think messing with everybody across Raw and SmackDown, the entire Regal Coalition, is a good idea? Well, it's not, because at Survivor Series, I would love, nothing more than to end this little OC once and for all. Because I see 5 of you in the ring. We've got us 3, and we have the grizzled young veterans over on SmackDown. How about we do a little Survivor Series action ourselves? And then AJ's got the mic and he goes, You're on. So there's the match. OC versus the Regal Coalition. It will be Dudley, Gunther, Pete Dunne, Rip, Fowler and Jagger Reed against Finn Balor, Anderson, Gallows, AJ and Santos. 5v5 Survivor Series elimination match. I really want to go War Games, but I'm not doing 3 War Games as War Games is. And if I did, the third one would be a women's War Games, so I'd have to do 4, and that is not happening. So, yeah. This is the match. 5v5, just normal elimination tag. We then see Sal in his black glasses, and he stumbles into Alexa's office. And he takes the glasses off, and Alexa, Tatum, and Ivy, and Brandy's in there as well. And he goes, "Hey girls, I must have entered the wrong room. Can I get anything for you?" And Alexa goes, "You just walked in very important discussion here. Okay, I invited you guys over to Raw because I thought I wanted to give you a little fun. All of my wrestlers say you're causing mayhem back there. And what do you want? Why are you in here?" And he goes, "Well, do you need anything, And she goes, "You could get me a coffee." And he goes, "Great, coffee for you, GM, Alexa Bliss." And then Sal leaves the room. And then Brandy goes, "As I was saying before he interrupted, I think this is a really good idea to get Heat back on the map, okay? So I've been doing some thinking, and imagine it, Heat, next gen tournament. What we're going to do, right? We're going to take 8, rookies from the WWE Performance Center who you've never seen before. I'm talking pre-NXT. And we're going to put them in 2 groups of 4 to go across the next 8 weeks of Heat programming. And the winner of that next gen tournament gets a contract for WWE's main roster as a part of the Heat roster, and maybe later Raw or SmackDown if they fancy him, and a spot in the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match. Alexa just stood there. She goes, "I love it. Okay, so you go work out the names, and we can announce it here tonight that starting tonight, the Heat Next Gen Tournament begins, Brandy." And then Brandy goes to leave, and she's like, "Brandy, you're looking a lot perkier today, is something up? Had some good news or something?" And Brandy goes, I had a lot on my plate recently, but a lot of that stuff has sort of left the plate, and I'm ready to get back to work." And she goes, "Well, I'm happy to hear that, okay? You've done great business here, so yeah." And then Brandy leaves, and then she talks to Alexa and Ivy about the tournament. Then Sal walks in and delivers a coffee to Alexa, and he gets a tick for passing his goal. He got a very easy one, They sent him into the GM's office thinking that he was going to get shouted at, but all he had to do was get a coffee. So it actually turned out well for Sal here. We are back. Dio Senpai. I'm gonna imagine he doesn't walk straight in. It is just Manny Sensei and Saray just standing in their training field. And Manny just looks at his watch. He's like, he should be here by now. And Saray's like, where's Dio? I'm worried. And then Manny puts his arm around Saray. He's like, don't be worried. You know, Dio does this all the time, you know. There's nothing to worry about. And then we hear a scream. Like a man scream. And he goes, Dio? And then they all run off screen. And then they look into a ditch. And Dio's just there laid out in a ditch. And like, oh my god, Dio. Who did this? Who did this? Sensei and Saray are like standing behind Manny. And then Dio's like, Manny, is that you? And he goes, yes, Dio, it's me. How can I help you? What do you need? Who did this? He goes, I didn't see who did this. But help me. And Manny's like, how? How do I help you? What do you want me to do? It's like, I can't breathe. Please help me. And Manny goes, what do you want? CPR? And Dio goes, Manny, please. And then he's like, I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. Okay. Anyone got a defibrillator or anything to pump, oxygen to him? And then Saray just shoves Manny out of the way and she gives CPR to Dio himself. And then he springs back into life. He's like, oh. That was not the way that I wanted my arrival in season 2 to go. But boys, Saray, there is more greater threats than we thought. Getting the pendant back from Joe Gacy is just the first step. Because I didn't see who it was, but I felt a powerful presence. We're going to need a lot more help. So, a very, not normal opening to My Wrestling Academia Season 2. Very serious, very somber. Dio was in trouble. Manny, I guess, didn't value his friend's life enough to give him mouth-to-mouth, but Saray saved the day, of course, and now, other than the pendant, which we have to get back from Gacy, apparently there's more threats in the world of the anime. The final... Yeah, this is the final Black Glasses trial. Mr. James Murray is stumbling around, and they're like, okay, now, take the glasses off. And he takes them off, and they're standing in front of him. Still, he's got his shirt, bean stains. It's probably still got the green slime on it from last week, because, he can't wash it. Corbin's there with his tin of beans and a fork. And he goes, who are you? What do you want? He goes, oh, your shirt's a little dirty there. And he's like, yes, I did. I know, it's some jokester last week I tried to trick me with a case of money. See, I'm really down bad right now, and I need money, and they tricked me, and they put green slime in a suitcase, and then Murder starts laughing, and he goes, "What's funny?" He goes, "Oh, that was us, we knew we were coming to Raw, and like, you opened our case, and haha, we got you good, but yeah, you probably should get this cleaned." And then carrying across the crosscutter behind him, and he goes, "He just told you that he can't get it cleaned." And then Cross pins Murr up against the wall, and he goes, "Listen here, kid. Do you get your kicks like this? You get invited here, big-time celebrities. This is what you do. You mess with us. You mess with guys like us. And you think we don't know how to respond? You think we wouldn't fight back against someone like you? Well, you're sadly mistaken, kid. Because, quite frankly, you're a joke. And your little show's a joke, your little cameras are a joke. And the whole thing is a joke. Okay? Now Corbin here, he's not having a rough time of things, you're just making it worse. Kicking a man while he's down. How'd you like it if I choked you out right now, kid? Huh? Would that be funny? Would that be a joke?" And then security, and I imagine the other three, run out to try and stop Cross from choking him. And then they have to try and pull Karrion Kross off. And he goes, "Huh, sue me if you must. But I'm tired of guys like this thinking they own the place. You create monsters like me. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. Come on, Corbin. Let's change the world." And Corbin just, I guess, follows Karrion Kross and the Cross Cult. And a very dark end, I guess, much like My Wrestling Academia. You didn't expect the Radical Joker's cameo on Raw to end with them fighting as Karrion Kross attempt to choke out Murr, but there we go. And yeah, Karrion Kross has taken Baron Corbin away, and I guess that counts as an L for Murr since he didn't do anything to Corbin other than speak to him. So they all get one win, one L. What could that possibly mean for whoever the biggest loser is? Next week, though, as I said, Raw is on the roof. We're going to find some rooftop arena. It's going to be a great visual, and I promise nobody's getting thrown off. But, as announced last week, on that show, Drew McIntyre will defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Andrade of Legado de la Sombra. And yeah, that's not the only title match. Wait, yes it is. Because the other title match is happening on Heat. Silly me. But the match I have booked here is just a singles match. That is between Maki and Deonna Purrazzo of, whatever the Aiden English group is called. I still haven't figured out a name for it, There's a triple threat tag match for the titles on Heat coming up next. But then next week it'll be Deonna and Maki one-on-one. Speaking of singles women's action next week, the Queen, Charlotte Flair, will go one-on-one with whoever is the 5th member of Team Bianca. Bianca, Sasha, Liv, Shida. Bianca says she knows somebody to contact. We're going to find out who that is. And then in a huge tag team match, SmackDown's AJ Styles moves over to Raw for one match when he teams with his friend, his Bullet Club friend, his OC friend, Finn Balor, to take on the Regal Coalition's Pete Dunne and Dudley Davis. Speaking of those, though, that brings us to Survivor Series. We had a big match announcement tonight. It will be Finn Balor, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, AJ Styles, and Santos Escobar of the OC, taking on Gunther, Dudley Davis, Pete Dunne, Rip Fowler, and Jagger Reed of the Regal Coalition in a 5v5 traditional Survivor Series elimination match. And we also learned that Charlotte will be the 5th member of Team Rhea. That'll be Rhea, Julia, Sonya, Scarlett, and Charlotte, taking on Sasha, Bianca, Liv, Shida, and we don't know the 5th person, so we don't have the graphic made for that match yet. But yeah, Survivor Series coming along quite nicely as we head into our main event. Fuck, what the fuck? Drew McIntyre sustained a neck strain. I don't think that will keep him out of action, but of course something had to go wrong with the ratings on this show and fuck the main event up, because, that's been a trend tonight. Have I ever told you that this is genuinely a bad game? Like, a neck strain, okay? Drew was like, ow, my neck's a bit achy. That made the match bad, apparently. So yeah, Tatum Paxley's match was only one rating worse than this. But Drew and Sheamus win. Drew pins Grand Metalik with a Claymore. 86 for Metalik, 71 for Lindsay, 94 for Drew, and 85 for Sheamus. And we get a tense celebration, of course, because these two still aren't friends. But, they did win. So, they celebrate, but not together. And then the rest of Legado jump them. Andrade, Cruz, Joaquin, Zelina's there giving orders. And Cruz and Joaquin are in the corner, stomping on Sheamus. When Andrade gets Drew in position for a hammerlock DDT. When Sami Zayn, Nakamura, and Montez Ford hobble out from the back. And I guess Metalik and Dorado cut them off on the ramp, so do Cruz and Joaquin, which leaves McIntyre and Andrade alone in the ring together. And Andrade hits the hammerlock DDT on Drew, probably onto the belt, I imagine, because that's always a cool visual. And then he picks the belt up and holds the belt up high, with Zelina, I guess Cynthia, and Raquel in the ring as well, to end the show with Andrade standing tall, holding the world title up high. Will this be how we end next week's episode of Raw? No, because the world title match is opening. Somehow we still get an 86 for that show, despite, every single match having something wrong with it. But yes, that is the end of Raw. as we now move on to what is actually going to be an exciting episode of Heat, because it's going to have a triple threat women's tag team title match, as well as the first 2 matches in Group A of the Heat Next Gen tournament. Heat. We kick off with Brandy in the ring. She's got 7 women standing behind her. And she says, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Heat. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a big night here on Heat, because we are introducing you to the Heat Next Gen tournament. Now behind me I have 8 lucky... she's like, apparently 7 prospects from the WWE Performance Center, all of whom will fight out over the next 8 weeks in a tournament, 2 groups of 4, where the winner will earn a WWE contract for Heat and a spot in the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match. Now let's introduce you to the 8 lucky ladies who will be a part of this tournament. And then first steps up a green-haired lass. She's like, prepare to be razzled and dazzled, because my name is the Great Kathy Cool. You've seen many people come and go in this, but none of them have the pizzazz. None of them have the wow factor that I have, because whether it be in this ring, backstage, or on the in the show, all eyes are on me. And you're going to be exactly the same when I go right to the top, win this breakout tournament, and do it in style. And she steps back, and then the next girl steps forward. And she's like, hi, my name's Connie Ortiz. I'm the gal pal, I guess. I don't really know what it means. Like, it just rhymes, and it's fun to say. But anyway, I'm like, just chilling, just vibing. Like a lot of, weird things for girls to like. Sort of like a tomboy, I guess you could say, but like, I wouldn't really describe myself, put myself in that box. But all I know is I'm here to break out, and, I was weird over being the wrestling fan amongst my friends, so why not put that to use, hey? And then she steps back, and then the girl next to her sort of like rolls her eyes out and starts sort of tuts. She's like, unlike that disappointment, I'm Samantha Riggs, and I'm your boyfriend's crush, okay? Take a look, okay? You heard the first girl, Kathy, said that all eyes are on her. All eyes are on me, because the second you turned around, you looked across this ring, because you naturally do. You look around at all the girls, and you're like, who's gonna be the one that I like? You all looked at me, because I have that factor whenever I step into a room, everyone's eyes turn to me. And once I win this breakout tournament, and I earn my space in that Royal Rumble match, I'm gonna win that. And then the whole world will be in love with me. And she steps back, and then the next girl steps forward. And she's like, no, hun. Okay, listen here. My name is Cupid's Arrow, Tracy Sharrow. Okay? And they call me Cupid's Arrow because the first time people meet me, they fall in love. Whether that be because of my, talent in the ring, talent on the microphone, or my looks, or any other reason, You see Tracy Sharrow, you fall in love, because that's the power of Cupid's Arrow. And then she steps back, and then the next girl steps forward. She's like, oh, for fuck's sake. I have to do this voice. She's like, ooh, hello. My name's Symphony Fox, and I am virtually insane, because I kind of cuckoo in the brain, but I also, I'm kind of a bit of a, as the kids these days say, e-girl. Okay, and whether you want to pledge to my legion of foxheads, okay, because of course we have the name of our fan club, okay, you can feel the symphony with me, Symphony Fox, okay, and be one of my symphony simps, ooh. And she steps back, and then the next girl steps forward, and she goes, unlike her, I'm actually, willing to do anything it takes to win this tournament, okay? They call me the Carnage Kid. I'm Joanna Boone. And trust me, Nothing that these girls can do can compare to what I can do, okay? You ain't never seen moves like this. Especially from a woman here in WWE. Because I'm going to put my body on the line whenever I step into that ring. Because this isn't just a hobby to get myself on TV. This is my life. And if I've got to put that on the line every single night, then so be it. Then the last girl in the ring steps forward. And she goes, "Whoa! Okay. Right. My name's Wildfire Lucy Striker. And I'm, as the name implies, a bit of a wildfire, you know. I like to let my wild side out in the ring, lay it out backstage. But trust me, you don't want to get on my bad side, because I've been known to be a little bit mean. Once people get on my bad side, that's the fire part of my personality, you know. And all these girls, they're doing a good job of selling themselves when they get onto this microphone. But not me. I'm going to let my in-ring work do the talking." And Brandy goes, "Well, we appear to be missing our last competitor. But these are..." And then she gets cut off. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're not missing anybody, okay? I'm here because I need my own special introduction. You're saving the best till last. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nene Arizawa. They call me the Cat of Nine Tails, okay? Because I'm going to whip that ass. Whether it's in the ring or out of the ring. You step to me wrong, and I'm going to whip your ass. Because I've been doing this amateur level, and finally here at WWE, I'm winning this whole damn thing. And I'm getting that contract, okay? Anyone dares step to me, bring it. Because I am the future of women's wrestling. It is my right as the future of women's wrestling to win this tournament. So, move along, Brandy. Move along the 7 other girls in this ring. Who's my first challenger? Who's the first victim in the early stages of my long WWE career? So there's the 8 competitors, you know. You will see them all in action over the next 2 weeks. You know, we've got Group A today, Group B next week. But based on just those alone, and the graphics, and the gimmicks and shit, if you've got an early favourite, do let me know. I actually don't know who's winning this whole tournament, okay? I'll pull back the curtain there. I don't have a favourite. I like them all. Hence why they're all in here. But whoever ends up performing the best, I guess, I'll go with them. So I don't actually know who's winning this right now. But yeah, those are the 8 competitors. They will come armed with custom renders and pictures in case they ever get actually pushed. But the first match will be the e-girl herself, virtually insane Symphony Fox, taking on the Cat of Nine Tails, Nene Arizawa. This, for some reason, didn't get penalised for being two unimportant people. One of these must have momentum. Okay, but the first win of the tournament does go to Nene. She wins a winning kick in 5:46. 25 for both women. Okay, so we're no closer to finding out who the best woman is based off just this match. And then the second match of the night is, I want to say, Tracy Sharrow versus Connie Ortiz. I'd be correct to say that. But it is the gal pal, Connie Ortiz, defeating Cupid's Arrow, Tracy Sharrow, with a Patriot Crusher in 9 minutes 6 seconds. Connie gets a 20, Tracy gets a 40. So, you know, she could be somebody to look out for in the future. This one, however, did get dinged for being unimportant people. But now, we must roll on with what has been the longest episode of Heat ever, with, you know, your regularly scheduled women. Florence, you know, the gals you recognise, the gals you're here to watch, takes on Billie Kay. In 8:34, Florence wins by pinfall. She gets a 68 and a 56 for Billie Kay. And then to main event to close out this big episode of Heat, because I imagine, like, we're starting a tournament that we want people to see, so putting a title match on would get people to watch. It's going to be J-Flo, who are doing something risky in this match. Becky, because she's wrestling Deonna next week, she's not defending the titles tonight. It's going to be Mina and Tam of J-Flo in a triple threat tag team match against Toxic Attraction and VXT. But it is J-Flo who do retain. They keep a hold of the belts, even though it is Mina and Tam, because it is Tam pinning Chelsea Green with a spin kick in 13:51. 68 for Mina, 70 for Tam, 53 for JC, 63 for Gigi, 45 for Chelsea, 71 for Deonna, 62 for the match, and yeah, finally non-Mackie J-Flow girls get a chance to shine here tonight, and they retain the belts in the main event of Heat. The show gets us a 54. Yep, Heat Reigns is probably going to be down for the foreseeable future while the Next Gen Cup's going on. But yes, this is actually the most, discussable episode of Heat, ever. I'm probably going to actually upload the graphics all to a community post after this as well. So you can, again, take a look at them all together, pick out who your favourites are, who you think's going to go all the way. Because this is going to be fun, It's a time for me to... Because these aren't actual wrestlers. It's just a way to me to introduce, I don't know if they're going to stick around long term. Obviously the winner probably will, but other than that, we'll probably see him here and there. But it's a way for me to actually, try my best at doing completely custom gimmick stuff. That's my favourite thing about having the characters the game makes you, is that I can project whatever I want onto them and, not feel weird going oh, this person in real life would never do this. So yeah, having 8 of them at my disposal will be fun. And I'll probably do a men's one at some point, but there'd have to just be cruiserweights, I guess, because we don't have a B show for just men. But anyway, do let me know what you thought of Heat. I actually want to know what you thought of Heat this week, as well as Raw, mainly still. But yeah, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown. See you then.